Thank you. We can have a seat. As we go on in the program, I just want to do a brief introduction of the people that are here on the I table. And I'm going to start with the provost of the College of Medicine, in the person of Professor T.O. Ogundiran, FAS. You're welcome, sir. The secretary to the college, Mr. A.E. Odedele, who is ably represented today by the Principal Assistant Registrar, Academic Office, Mr. J.E. Etakpemi. You're welcome, sir. The Financial Controller of this great College of Medicine, in the person of Mr. S.O. Ayoshino. You're welcome, sir. And of course, the medical librarian, who happens to be the lecturer of today, the person of Dr. Grace A. Ajuwon. You're welcome, ma'am. And I want to introduce the people on the other side. We have the dean. Before we used to call him the baby dean, but now he has become the infant dean. The dean of the Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, in the person of Professor F.A. Feyitola. And the baby dean, the Dean of the Faculty of Nursing, Professor Priska Adejumo, ably represented this morning by Dr. Chizoma Ndikom. You're welcome, ma'am. And the chairman of the College of Medicine Capacity Development Committee, Dr. O. Ibiyemi. You're welcome, sir. Maybe as time goes on, when others do come, we'll introduce them again. And now I want to call on our dear Provost for his welcome address.
Thank you. Distinguished members of the I table, distinguished colleagues, good morning to everyone. I didn't even know that I was coming to give any welcome address. And since it's a welcome address, I welcome you all to today's program, and I admonish that we all pay due attention. The topic we are considering today is very, very important. There's no doubt about that. And I would like to, before I sit down, thank the lecturer of today, Dr. Grace Ajuwon, for accepting to deliver this lecture. We all need to read, we all need to learn. There are many things to learn, there are many things to relearn, and there are many things to unlearn. And so learning is very important. So we can all appreciate the importance of today's lecture. Whoever you are, whatever you do, this lecture applies to us all. And I hope those who are online too will be able to follow as we go along in this journey this morning. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very short and precise address. I've been informed that the next item will be stepped down because the presentation of this morning is ITU related. And so without wasting any more time, we are skipping the information technology training and going straight to the lecture presentation of today, which is titled Reading and Literacy, Keys to Lifelong Learning. Please, I want us to pay keen attention to today's lecture. Just as our provost has said, we all have something that we have to gain. And for those that are online also, welcome you once again. I believe that today we will enjoy ourselves. I want to bring to this podium the lecturer of today, Dr. Grace Ada Ajuwon.
The Provost, College of Medicine, Professor T.O. Gundiro, the Secretary to the College, ably represented by Mr. Etakweme, the Financial Controller, Mr. Samson Anyoshino, and myself, the presenter. The Dean of the Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, Professor Fentola, the Dean, Faculty of Nursing, ably represented by Dr. Tizobam Ndekom, and our chairman of the Capacity Development Committee, who is not here now, Dr. Ibiyemi. Other deans, heads of departments, directors of institutes, academic staff, non-teaching staff of the College of Medicine, those here seated, those online, ladies and gentlemen. The title of this presentation has been slightly changed to reflect what I do as a librarian. Initially, we said it is reading and literacy keys to lifelong learning, but I changed it slightly to reading and information literacy keys to lifelong learning. So we are going to take them one by one. Look at what is reading, what is information literacy, and then we see how both of them are keys to lifelong learning. So this is the outline of the presentation. We are going to be talking about reading, information literacy, the relationship between the two, and lifelong learning. Now, my question to all of us is this: which of the following is vital to greater personal success in life? I need answer. Which of these? Is it your charisma? Is it your determination? Is it the people skills that you have? Perseverance? Is it more reading or wealth? Determination. They are all important, but the one that will drive you to succeed in life. Reading will take you far. Everything you need to do in this life, they are in the pages of books. You want to get money, go and read books that talk about how to create wealth. Yes, you have to be determined, but if you can be determined without reading. Yes, you can actually go and read some books, like and ask all those who have become rich. They will tell you the number of books they've read. You need to read. Reading more books. The power of reading. A book is a dream. You hold it in your hands. The more that you read, the more things you will know, the more that you learn, the more places you will go. And being able to read and write is crucial to a child's success, chances of success in life. And that is the power of reading, the ability to read. If a child cannot read, and I'm going to share my story with us today, my own life story. Cannot read, can't go far. Whether it's in our own local languages or in English, any child that cannot read cannot go far. That's the truth. Today you are a reader, tomorrow you can be a leader. Today, at some point, our provost was reading. Today is a leader. Same thing with other people. You have to read. Of people here reading different things. So, what is reading? We all know that reading is taking a book and just reading it, but it has definition. Many people have defined reading. It is a process. It involves decoding symbols and gleaning meaning from three components of it. We have three components of it. We have decoding, we have comprehension, and we have retention. And what is decoding? It is the process of translating a printed word into sound. Comprehension is the level of understanding of that text you are reading. And then we have retention. So, what you have read, your ability to be able to retain them. Now, my story. He said reading is the ability to understand, bring out meaning from what you are reading. And it is when you are reading a book. I couldn't. Mary received the greatest cane. And one day he told me, Ada, I will open your brain and put book inside. The cane I received that day, I will never forget. So it is possible to read and not recognize the words. That is why I'm sharing this story. So what are the importance of reading? For children, it's very important. Reading is very important. So for children who read for 20 minutes every day, they are exposed to 1.8 million words in a year. The more you read, the more words you are exposed to, the more words you know, the more words you add to your vocabulary, and the better you can communicate better. Those who can read an average of 4.6 minutes daily are exposed to 282 words in 1 year. However, children who read less than 1 minute are exposed to only 8,000 words. They are limiting themselves. They are limiting themselves. There are different types of reading, and we know some people read aloud. If you read aloud, there's something you gain by reading aloud. Some people read silently. Some people do what we call intensive reading, extensive reading, supplementary reading, and some people come to the library to read. And there are different types of libraries. The ones we have in the university are the ones we call academic libraries. And we have public libraries. If you go to the Oyo State Library Board in Budugbe, there is a public library there for the general public. Then how do you develop good reading habits? We must cultivate the habit of reading. You have to set a goal. It's a serious business. Just like my father took up teaching us as a serious business. Reading requires that you set a goal. How many books do I want to read this month? You create a reading list. Which books do I want to read? Do I want to read books that has to do with wealth creation? Do I want to read books on how to use the internet? Because some of us may not know how to use it, and we want to. So you read books. Everything we need in this world, they are in the pages of books. The important thing is to know the type of books to read. Schedule a time, even if it's 1 hour or 30 minutes, to do some reading. If I have to travel from here to Lagos, if I'm not driving, I have to read a book. Find a good place to read. Find the best time for you to read. There are people, even if you stay here, you are blowing music, they will read and they will understand. There are people, they want a very quiet place. If that is your own case, why not? For me, it is early in the morning when I wake up. Just find the best time for you to read and eliminate distraction. If you are serious about reading, put your phone aside. Don't touch it for that period. It will help you. Read actively. Keep reading. Keep a reading journal and carry a book wherever you go. Carry a book wherever you go. Interact with people of like minds, people who are also reading. If you want to read, don't go and associate with people who don't want to read. Yes. Get a reading partner. Growing up, like I said, we had reading partners. You read your own, I read my own. When I finish mine, I share it with you, and then I collect yours. We read books like James Hadley Chase. James Hadley Chase journal is based on the American environment. And I can't forget one book I read. It's called You Are Dead Without Money. I didn't know the importance of that book and the reality of what that book meant until I went to America. And truly, people there are dead without money. If you don't have money, you become homeless. Even when it is snowing, you are out there in the cold. And that book made sense to me when I was able to get to that country. Now, I'm going to the next concept we have to talk about, and that is information literacy. We are done with books. We are done with reading. Now we are going to talk about information literacy. What is it? What's about information literacy? Many organizations, associations have defined information literacy. And this definition is from the Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals. They say information literacy is knowing when and why you need information, where to find the information, how to evaluate it, and use it, and communicate it in an ethical manner. Know when you need information. Know where to look for that information, to evaluate it, and use it in a way that is appropriate. Other organizations, like the American Library Association, the Medical Library Association, and even UNESCO, they all defined information literacy. To be an information literate person, you must be able to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, use effectively that needed information to solve a problem. That's what information literacy is all about. So, the issue is that information literacy is a skill. We all need it. It's a skill. A skill that you have to acquire. You know when you need information, you know where to look for the information, and how to evaluate and use that information. Information literacy, the whole aim of it is to develop both reading interest and critical thinking. It helps you to develop interest in reading and critical thinking. And it's a concept with different dimensions. So we have here information fluency, and that is the ability, the capacity to master information competencies. We have user education, the one we teach those who come to the library. And then we have library use instruction. When I was at the Obafemi Awolowo University Library, they call it Hezekiah Oluwasami Library. That was where I started my career. We had the course on library use instruction, where we go to the class and teach students. And then there are others. Development of information skills. And that is the process of facilitating information skills. You need information skills to survive in this digital age. And there are different types of information literacy. The media literacy, your ability to be able to use images. And then network literacy, your ability to operate effectively in a network environment. And then we have traditional or alphabetic literacy, being able to do mathematical work. These are the different literacies, information literacy that we have. So, and we also have the skills. These skills include your ability to recognize a need for information, your ability to distinguish between good information and the one that is, your ability to construct a search strategy. When you need information, the first thing you do is, where can I find this information? That's the first step. Where do I find the information? When you are able to know where you find it, how do I search and get it? Everything is now online. You must have a strategy for searching out what is online. If you don't have that skill, you may just wander around the internet and not really get what you need. Then when you find information, you have to evaluate it and be sure that the information is appropriate for your need. And there are criteria for evaluating information. Who is the author? Is it accurate? Is the person out to sell or to promote another person's business? How recent is that information? Those are some of the criteria for evaluating information that you find online. And then information literacy, one other thing it does is that it contributes to creating new knowledge. It contributes to us creating new knowledge. So who is an information literate person? Is that person who is able to determine the extent of information that is needed, to evaluate information, to use information effectively to accomplish specific purposes, and to access information in an ethical and legal manner. And these are the benefits. If you are information literate, it expands your knowledge. You are able to synthesize data and information. You are able to access needed information effectively and efficiently. And then you will have confidence, you will have self-confidence in yourself. You'll be able to solve problems. And then you'll be able to understand the economic, legal issues that relates to information. Now we are getting now to the lifelong learning. Lifelong learning. The learning from birth to the end of life. We continue to learn all through life. It's not only formal, it's both formal, informal, and so on. So lifelong learning is not limited to the learning that we receive in school. It goes beyond that. Lifelong learning starts from the moment we are born and ends at death. It is never too late to learn. Never. Because lifelong learning starts and just continues from the time we are born to the time we... So the World Bank Group, they said a lifelong learning encompasses learning throughout the life cycle, from birth to the grave, and in different learning environments, both formal, informal, and informal. Formal, non-formal, and informal. So, lifelong learning, you can see a little boy there. And then as he grew up, he's still learning. He just kept learning. It is related to other educational concepts. So as a staff, you continue to learn. You read books. You attend conferences. You go for workshops, seminars. When you are doing all that, it's part of lifelong learning. It's not only limited to academic work. You can go to YouTube and learn how to bake cake. It's part of lifelong learning. You can go there and learn how to sew. It's part of lifelong learning. Even when you go to a tailor, say, teach me. It's part of it. You are learning a skill. That is what lifelong learning is about. Now, what is the relationship between information literacy and lifelong learning? Many organizations have defined the two. The Alexander Proclamation on Information Literacy and Lifelong Learning, this is how they state it. It says information literacy lies at the core of lifelong learning. It empowers people. Information literacy empowers people of all walks of life in all walks of life to seek information, to evaluate it, use it, and create more information to achieve their personal, social, occupational, and educational goals. It is basic human right in a digital world and promotes social inclusion in all nations. Then the American Association of School Librarians stated that information literacy is the ability to find and use information, and it is keystone of lifelong learning. So information literacy and lifelong is a key to lifelong learning. It's a major key. If you don't know about information, if you don't know how to find information, if you don't know how to use information in a legal and ethical manner, the lifelong learning aspect of it, you will not glean it. And then the last one, by Roos, 1994, said, information literacy is a process of lifelong self-education. Lifelong learning is self-motivated. You determine how far you want to learn. You determine when you want to learn. You determine the pace at which you learn. It's not like school. You go to school, you are an undergraduate. The school determines what you learn, when you learn it, and when you finish, if you are serious. But in lifelong learning, you determine the pace at which you learn. It is self-directed. It is self-motivated. You are in charge. You, the individual. So here we have different people learning different things. Some are learning how to make things. You can see a child using Lego to build a house. These are all part of lifelong learning. You, the individual, you are in charge. You decide what you want to learn, how you want to learn it, and at what pace you learn. And there are different types of lifelong learning. The formal learning, the one we went to school from primary, secondary, university. Those are the formal types of learning. The informal one is the daily one. Those who go to the mechanic workshop and learn how to repair cars. That's the informal one. Those who go to a barber's workshop to learn how to cut people's hair in a better manner, they are in the informal sector. And those who learn how to sew and are sewing clothes for people, those are the ones, these are skills. And it's part of what we are talking about. Then you have the non-formal, which is unstructured, and then it is related and indirectly to formal education, the non-formal one. And we have benefits of lifelong learning. Lifelong learning has many benefits. One, that it improves our mind. It improves our mind, keep it sharp, and improves memory. It increases our confidence and self-esteem. It gives us opportunity to try something new. We can save money by doing some things by ourselves. When you learn a skill, if you learn how to sew, when your clothes is loose, you don't have to take it to a tailor, you do it yourself. Yes. So those are the things that lifelong learning does to you. Help you meet people who share your interests. It builds your skill and you are already, and offers you an opportunity to learn something that is completely new. And then there is this crave, hunger for new knowledge. Now, reading and lifelong learning. Reading is a lifelong learning skill. It builds a robust vocabulary and foundation of knowledge. If you don't read, you will not learn new words, and your vocabulary will remain where it is. But the more you read, the more new words you encounter and you add to your own vocabulary, the better you can communicate. And then I put this one in red because it's so important. It adds richness and depth of meaning to life for all those who can access true deep comprehension. For those who can comprehend what they are reading, it adds richness to their life. If you are reading a book and you can comprehend what you are reading, it adds richness. Then feeds your curiosity. And then your cognitive development is enhanced. then it ignites lifelong passion for learning. If you can read, it doesn't matter whether it's in Yoruba or in Igbo or in English, it will ignite you to know more and to learn more. So reading is the key to learning. If you only read the books that everyone is reading, you can only think what everyone is thinking. Yes. If all you do is to read what everybody is reading, you only know what they know. So read beyond what everybody is reading. Reading also promotes and enhances lifelong learning. We have already said it, and I also emphasize that reading is crucial in lifelong learning. And how is that? It provides access to knowledge, information, and continuing education. Reading promotes lifelong learning, cognitive health. What do I mean? What do I mean by cognitive? Intellectual abilities. With reading, you are able to develop language facility. When you read, you learn the language better. For those of us, as you read, the English language, you know it better. Sometimes you meet people who actually you think that they own the language, but you speak better than they do. And this is as a result of your reading. For children, it helps early brain development. When children start reading early, it helps their brain to develop better. And then it also helps in the acquisition of new skills, like computer literacy, and then help individuals to adapt to challenges throughout their lifetime. And then what is the relationship between literacy and lifelong learning? There are three major ones, and I've mentioned them before. It is self-motivated. Lifelong learning is self-motivated. You determine how far you want to learn. You determine how you want to learn, what you want to learn. It is self-empowering. It helps individuals of all ages and groups, regardless of their social or economic status in the society, whether gender or race, doesn't matter. And then it is self-actuating. The more information literate an individual is, the more likely she or he will learn. The more information literate you are. What do I mean by information literate? The more you know what information you need, how to source for that information and use it, the better. It is self-directed. You direct how you want to learn. It is all about you. Once you stop learning, according to Albert Einstein, you start dying. In conclusion, reading and information literacy are key elements in lifelong learning. If you want to continue to learn and unlearn, you must read and be an information literate person. So let's keep learning, keep educating yourself, and just keep learning more. Thank you very much. So before I go to my seat, there are other things I want to talk about. When it comes to information literacy, someone may ask, how do we now become an information literate person? Librarians are the ones that teach people information literacy. How you can find information, where you can get the information, how you can use the information. It is our role. And in an academic setting like this, what we teach has to do with the resources that we have. Now we are in the digital age. We have a number of databases. So those databases, we teach individuals how to search them and use it for their research work. We have a number of databases. We are subscribed to Research for Life, and that has a number of databases, reference sources, and a host of others. We have access to UpToDate. We have the TripPro database. We have ProQuest, and then Medline PubMed. We teach people how to use technology in citation and referencing their work. It is part of information literacy. We also teach people how to use AI tools for research, and then how the AI tools that they can use in enhancing their research. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that delivery. Please, let's give her a round of applause again. That was a very good one. Thank you very much, Ma. By now, I want to believe that people you are compiling your questions. In fact, you should have written down if you have questions. And maybe some people would like to stand up to just ask if you have a comment or question. Let's get set. Okay, let's start with, okay, yes, sir. Mr. Ogunfowora, please come. Please, if you have written down any questions, please pass them forward.
Yeah, thank you, Medical Librarian, for that beautiful presentation. So we are in your presentation, you asserted that for us to learn, we should avoid distraction. And you mentioned our phone as a distraction. I want to slightly disagree that phone use is a distraction. These days we have books, e-books, and the only way we can access them is through our devices. I said you don't know what or how you are using your own phone, but I want to believe that phone use is really not a distraction. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to believe that's a comment, not a question, but you will say something about that. Let me just read these other questions that I have. Please, those online, if you have any question or comment, could you please drop them so that we can read them out loud? This is another question from somebody. It says, I am confused with non-formal and informal learning. What is the difference between the two? Kindly assist with practical examples. Did you get that? Okay, do you have any other question? All right, please, maybe you should answer those two first. All right. Okay, all right. Yes, Ma. And then.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Mrs. Ajuwon, Dr. Mrs. Ajuwon, for the lecture. But some time ago, my son was told me that I have to be doing things, I have to be busy with my, using my brain, doing something, so that it will not affect me health-wise. That he said he read somewhere that that's why some people go dementia and amnesia. I just want you to throw more light to that, where not getting our brain busy can affect us health-wise. Thank you.
Please, can we have your name and department, Ma?
I'm Mrs. Pratt, Department of O&G.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma. I'm Akinola J from O&G. Though we have a lot of information on the internet, but the use of the physical library cannot be rubbished as well. How can we as staff benefit from the use of the medical library here? Because when I came sometimes ago, I got stuck when I approached the library about how I can benefit. The request, the demand was so much. So please, I want to know, as staff of College of Medicine, how can we benefit? How can we access the use of the medical library that we have here? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any question online?
There's a question online.
Okay, please, can we have it projected, or do we help us read it out loud? Okay, we have one question there from Bidemi Akinlade. Says, Ma, what time can we visit the library for further training on how to use the resources in the library? Okay, I think that is, and somebody is asking if they will have the recording of this lecture. Okay, please, Ma, could you come to answer the questions? Thank you very much.
Let me start with Mrs. Pratt's question. Your son is right. If you don't challenge your brain as you are getting older, the possibility of forgetting things. So you have to read. You have to challenge it. It's in my slide when I said memory, it improves memory. It makes your brain sharp. It keeps it sharp. So you have to continue to read if you want to maintain your brain and then keep it sharp. So your son is right. So those of us, and it will slow down dementia. For those who already have it in their line, it will slow it down. Somebody talked about phone. Yes. Many of the students you see around, everything they are reading is on their phone. What I mean, maybe I did not state it well, is that if you are reading, even when you are reading using your phone, and then you are also on WhatsApp, you are typing, you are on Facebook, you are on Instagram, you are distracted already. You are distracted. There's no way you can comprehend, if you can read efficiently and effectively. When you are reading a book on your phone, you change to Instagram, then to Facebook, you want to respond to what people are saying in a forum. You are distracted. That's why what I mean by, please leave that aspect, leave social media. Maybe I should have just emphasized social media. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Someone also talked about how do we use the medical library. If you get to the medical library, we have a corner. We call it the Dr. Habib Olamitoye's corner. Different types of, in the medical library, we have medical books, everything medical. But in that corner, we have books on how to create wealth, on how to do other things. So staff can benefit from those. But, in any library around the world, we have what we call membership. If you want to use the library, it doesn't matter where. Even if you go to the public, you have to register. Many years ago, it was free. You can just walk in as a student or a staff and then register. But we discovered that in this country, people don't value free stuff. They will make use of it. But if you allow them to part with some of their money, they will take it serious. Printing of cards is expensive. You give it to them free. The next time they come, I can't find my card. Who will be paying for it? But when you pay to get that card, you keep it well. So you can, yes, you can come to the library anytime and register. Someone also asked, when can we come for training? We train people one-on-one. We train people in group. It pays to train in group. If you can bring 1 or 2, 3, 4 of you, you want to learn how we can access the databases I talk about. Research for Life, ProQuest, EBSCO hosts, up to date. Come, we teach you. It's unfortunate that we have these resources and they are underutilized, and we pay so much to subscribe to them. Non-formal and informal. You want me to say it's the same? It's the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe all our questions have been answered. Now I want to call on the secretary to the college, ably represented by Mr. Etakwemi, for any form of announcements. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Provost, please, sorry, I know I am to make an announcement, but I want to start with something. First, the resource person presentation was very brilliant. And indeed, we cannot but expect something short from a librarian. I'm very sure that you all know the librarians, what they are, second to the archivists. So any information we need, we can always get it through her. Thank you very much. The Secretary of the College, on behalf of him, Mr. Adedele, I have this few announcements to make. That the e-certificate for first year, the first 4 workshops will be sent to private individuals' email. That is the participants will be sent before the close of work today. So please check your email, you will find it there. Then the 5th to 7th participants too of the workshop. The 5th and 7th workshop, the certificate for that will also be sent by next week. So I think these are the 2 information I have for you, and also to now end it by saying thank you very much for your participation, and those online as well, we appreciate, and compliments of this season.
Thank you, sir. For somebody that was asking about the recording of this presentation, please, we have it on YouTube. All the presentations so far, please go check on College of Medicine YouTube handle. I want to invite the provost right now for his closing remarks.
Thank you. I think we should give another round of applause to our lecturer. Thank you very much. That was a very beautiful presentation. She has treated us to a lot of topics, and I would not want us to lose focus. The reason why we attend this, all these workshops, it is titled A Well-Informed Workforce. This is to improve our knowledge and also in a way to also impact on our work ethics, but basically to improve our life generally, individually, as well as collectively, both in our personal life, as well as in our lives as human beings, at home, at work, everywhere. So I have 1 or 2 questions briefly before I before we wind up. The first question is to ask, what book are you reading? And I would want answers from 1 or 2 people. And I would want the answers, one to be from this side. Whoever is going to volunteer, what book are you reading? No, not our lecturer. So nobody here is reading any book. Well, I think I will save the day by saying that I'm reading a book. And the book is titled, How Successful People Lead. That's the book I'm reading presently. So now over to you. Anybody, what book are you reading? Yes? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Thank you very much. Any other volunteer to tell us what book? Yes, please. Retirement Planning. Wonderful. So the message from here is that we should read a book at least each time. She has told us to read multiple books at the same time, but let's start with one. All right? We have been told that reading a book helps. The other thing is carry a book wherever you go. All right? You are traveling, you are whatever, you have free time, carry a book along, and then you read it. Reading is, we've heard a lot about it. I don't need to go over it again because of our time. We have also been told that the most important ingredient to success is reading. I agree 100% with that. Take it from me and from her, she has said it. If you find anybody that is successful in whatever he or she does, chances are that that person reads books. You get a good head of state. Let's start from there. Successful head of state, impactful head of state. You get a successful, impactful businessman, whoever, wherever. And you get a good and successful secretary. All right? Reading is very, very important. She has also told us one of the importances of reading for children. If you expose them to reading early, reading, memorizing, it helps their brain to develop. And somebody asked about the brain depreciating and leading to Alzheimer's disease, dementia. It's known that if you stop reading or use your mental ability or capability, then you begin to deteriorate. And we have been told, Einstein said that the day you stop reading or learning, that's the day you start dying. So let's all start reading. The area you work, you are a secretary, whatever you are, there are books to read in that area. Okay? Somebody may say, but I'm a driver. Yes. There are books on driving. All right? Driving today is different from driving 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Okay? You can read a lot about driving, about vehicles, about the road, about transportation that will enhance your ability and your output. So the essence of this workshop is so that it can impact on how we do our business, both personal business as well as what we are paid to do. So let's make sure that the impact of today's talk, we don't just stop it here. Now, the next question I'm going to ask is this. I found out that how many of us jotted something from today's lecture? You jotted something down. That's good. At least we have a sizable number. So let's jot things down. You saw me also jotting things down. I used my phone, so I wasn't distracted using my phone to distract my attention. My phone, I was jotting most of the things she said. I have it jotted. So let's jot, and don't just jot and leave it there. When you go back, think about it, go through it, all right, and read it. I think I have one or two more points. So today we learned about power of reading, information literacy, lifelong learning. It's never too soon or too late to learn. That is very, very important. And finally, information literacy and lifelong learning. Now, there is one more quote I want to mention before I stop, which is very, very intriguing. If you only read the book everyone is reading, you can only think the way everyone is thinking. So if you want to be different, read what others are not reading. So on this note, I thank you very much for coming today, and I believe it's been a good time together. So have a good day and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, the participants online and physical. We thank you once again. Shall we all rise for the anthems as we close? The anthems, please. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle, honor, and this we count as gain. To pass on to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. We'll stop there. Thank you very much for coming.